and stroking and so on. So I don't think just going to the physical act that leads to anything sexual kind of encapsulates the whole thing. I think it's more than just that.
So being a man, are you men into foreplay too? Do you enjoy receiving?
I think you'll find that a lot of men will deny being into foreplay. And
Really?
just want to go straight into it. But I think there are a lot of men who want and need to still feel stroked and desired and so on. So I think a lot of men do still want foreplay.
Now, Selassie.
Yeah, I would say that when in a relationship, when you concentrate on just the physical aspect of foreplay, it makes your relationship boring. And it makes sex and everything around it boring, because it's like when we just hook up, touch, feel, twist, massage, lick, taste, and then we have sex. But I think that if you want your relationship to go deeper, to increase intimacy, every time you should try to create some sort of foreplay. I mean, the little sticker notes, the text messages. Let's say your husband is rushing out of the house, like he's busy. A little bit of flash of the boobs just to keep his mind on you. I mean, you can use a lot of things to create that foreplay, because I don't think that it should always be like foreplay should always end up in sex. You may be so busy and you're waiting for your date night, but are you going to wait for that date night before you get intimate? It's something, a build up, a lead up.
It's a build up. It's you're laying the stepping stones towards something.
Yeah,
and
so
it doesn't have to be stepping stones now and then boom boom straight away.
No.
It can be stepping stones over a period of time, leading to the anticipation of something. So it isn't just
about the physical.
5 minutes you do this, 10 minutes you do that. It's the runway towards takeoff. Let me write that one down. I quite like that one.
Yeah, actually, and honestly, I would actually also say that, I think that in actuality, foreplay is, really about courting and wooing. Your woman or your man's sexual responses and that sexual arousal, all over again. I would say that it's the warming up to the grand finale.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You said more grudgingly.
No, because in a relationship, why do we get bored? Why do our relationship go stale? Because we stop doing all these things. You can just cast your mind back to when you were trying to woo your spouse and when you're trying to ask her to go out with you. The things that you were doing, I would say that all those were foreplay. But once we have arrived at our destination, we get married or you are in a serious relationship, you stop doing all that. And then we have the normal hustle of life happening. And so all these things are choked out of our lives and our relationship become monotonous and we are so boring and there is nothing. There is no excitement and nobody will bring it back. You have to force and bring it back.
That is an interesting one. You have to force and bring it back. So you have to be intentional about everything that you do in that relationship.
But should it be intentional? It should
be spontaneous, right?
As much as it's because let me say you are busy. Everything I use that example of flashing your boobs and everything. What I'm saying is that it is that choice you made that you realize that he's rushing out of the house. Yeah. He doesn't have time for anything, but I'm doing it just to give you something just to think about.
But then again, I would
agree with you there.
Yeah, I say that sometimes it's got to be intentional because not everybody have that. Not everybody, have that flair to just do the foreplay. Some people can be really stiff.
Well, you have to want certain things, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to want to inspire that desire and so on. And sometimes a little bit of cheeky banter, a little bit of naughtiness.
Yeah, everything.
I haven't got boobs to show, but I know what you mean. a little bit of show and tell can inspire your partner to feel that cauldron of desire bubbling away.
There is so much social media. There is so much we can do just to enhance our relationship. I mean, everything, voice messages, voice notes, texting, everywhere you can do it. Because we are so busy, so we have to do our romancing and our wooing and foreplay. It has to be on the go too. Yeah. You are sitting on the train and you type in something nice and everything.
If you're busy parents, if you have a 9 to 5, or you have a busy work life, you have to make sure that you do still feed into that desire, that allure, that anticipation, that want from your partner. So the foreplay can be just a quick little cheeky message. Guess what's waiting for you at home? Or when you come and you do find little things there. And don't get me wrong, you can be complacent, because I, for myself, I can say that you can be complacent. You can forget the foreplay. Your desire, your urge can be so rampant that you can forget the foreplay side.
I think that for a period of time, it may be okay, but as soon as one of you realize that that's not enough for me, you have to start doing something. Yeah,
because you cannot always expect your partner to just be there ready.
No.
You have to do the priming and the nurturing.
I believe that in a relationship, whoever realizes, at whichever point you realize that we've taken each other for granted, if you made a realization, I would just say that take it upon yourself to do something.
Yeah.
Don't wait for your spouse or your partner. Just take it upon yourself to do whatever you can do to bring that spark back, because nobody will do it for you. There may not even be that time to have the conversation, but just start doing something. The little things, just start doing it.
And there is no you should do it, I should do it.
No.
There is a we should do it. It should be a I want to show you that I desire you, regardless of who it is, male, female, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. If you really want and love your partner and you do want to keep them in tune to you, then do what you can do to woo them. You're right. You do it at the start of a relationship, but sometimes it drifts. So you drifts off.
That's the thing. Yeah. That's why someone says to me that relationship is not about 50-50. It's about 100-100. So you all put in your 100%, each. Now, do you think that foreplay is important, or is it just overrated?
It is very, very important.
And it is not overrated.
And I don't think it's even, because I think it should even be talked. It should be overrated. It should be, because when I think of it, in a relationship, as we are discussing it, and we're not limiting it to the physical, to every aspect of our relationship, because we are living a normal, busy life.
Yeah.
That is when foreplay is really important. We have to keep on wooing our spouse. We have to keep on doing certain things, because if we don't do it, it's just like a lantern. The fuel is running out, and the candle will just burn. The light will just fade out. So how do we keep that spark alive? By really feeding our relationship. And I think that foreplay is one of the areas you can feed your relationship, because how can it just be there? You've not really romanced each other, you've not wooed each other, and then you really want to get intimate. It becomes, you really want to have sex. It becomes a bit awkward.
I would say it's underrated.
Yeah.
I would say foreplay is underrated, because you'll find that there are a lot of guys that will not necessarily go for foreplay. They want what they want. It's kind of A to B.
Hooking up.
There is no in between. So there are
it's all about the grabbing and squeezing and just that.
And that's why I say that there's a level of complacency, because it's underrated. I don't think some people understand the value of foreplay. They don't understand how the slap and tickle, the stroking, the playing, the blindfolds, the all sorts can help your partner to feel more passionate towards you, to desire you more, to want you more. So you can go in and have, 20% engagement, but if you go into the foreplay, you can get that 20 to 50, maybe even more, and then suddenly you have more passion between the two of you, more spark, more energy, just from taking some time.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Well, when we come back, we will be talking about, whether there are myths associated with foreplay. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Gwenton Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
Hi, this is Rodney Hines.
And I'm Michael.
Join us on the Voice of Sports show each and every Saturday on ABN Radio.
We'll keep you bang up to date with all the latest football scores, and we'll discuss all the big talking points in the world of sport. So don't forget, join us this Saturday, 4 till 6 on ABN Radio UK.
What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English breakfast.
Salad, fruit and orange
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with... Now that's a suspense. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil. He's making
It's time for the conference we've all been waiting for, the Diamonds Conference 2018, themed Unbreakable, on the 24th of March 2018 at 12 noon at the Plush Auditorium, TBC Oasis House, 5 to 9 Peel Road, Croydon, CR03EX. A powerful time of 360 degrees of motivation and change from your crown to your heart. It will be a time of motivation, word, healing and worship with your host Ruth Appiah-J Matthew and special guest Reverend Kingsley Appiah-J. Plus exclusive workshops from industry experts from fashion, beauty, love and relationships. Guest artist Shekinah and much more. Early bird tickets are only £15. Standard tickets £21. Get your tickets now at www.thediamondsconference.com. Funds go to Hope Centre Orphanage. The Diamonds Conference, the exclusive ladies event of the year. See you there.
We're online, DAB and the ABN Radio app.
Welcome back to the Bedtalk Show with me, Ajua. We are live on ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan station. And so, yes, this is the Bedtalk Show if you have only just tuned in, and we are streaming live on YouTube. So if you want to go on YouTube to check us out and see what's happening in the studio directly, then you could do abnradiouk.com, abnradiouk.com. You could also tune in on the DAB app if you're driving or on the move or in your bed, or go online, Google, just put in abnradiouk.com. You would find us there as well. Tuning up, we are right there. And so I'm going to give out the phone lines as well. Please do feel free to give us a call. So you can call us on 0208-670-7300, 0208-670-7300. You could send us a WhatsApp message on 0788-7475-940. 0788-7475-940. And if you are abroad, you could give us a WhatsApp call on that same number, 0788-7475-940. So talking about the art of foreplay, are there any myths associated with foreplay? So lastly, I think I'm going to go for you, because especially for those with religious and cultural background, are there any kind of myths associated with it? You know, the do's and the don'ts, or...
I don't know. I would say that it's not always that foreplay has to lead to sex.
Okay.
So I would say that it's not always because at times the non-sexual touch, even if it's a sexual touch, it shouldn't necessarily lead to sex at the end of the day. Because it's like, I desire you and I just want to be in your company. And being in your company means touching you and just pleasuring each other. And I believe that, couples should come to the point that you can have an orgasm without having penetrative sex. Yeah. And I think that is so important. That is like, it's so sensual. You're exploring each other, and it's really deepens your intimacy. Mm-hmm. And if we want to talk about religion, I mean, as a Christian, I know certain Christian practices, people try to say that there's like certain things are not good when it comes to relationship. What I wanted
to find out. Are some foreplay? What kind of foreplay is acceptable and what is not?
But for me personally, I would say that whatever you come to your bedroom and you discuss and you're comfortable and you don't feel like you are being coerced to do anything, and you're comfortable with it and you've discussed it, and you try it, and you have the right to say that, oh, I don't feel comfortable with it, or it's hurting me and I want to stop it. And you can do that. I think that you can do everything to pleasure each other.
That's a conversation for after the show. I think there are questions around cultural beliefs.
Yes.
There are some cultures that do not find certain foreplay-based activities to be acceptable.
Yeah.
For example, some people see you know, touching a woman's breast before anything to be that you shouldn't do that. Some people believe that you should remain clothed when you do anything, that you shouldn't even see your partner when you're doing certain things. So it depends. Different cultures, different religions accept or embrace different things from different, you know, perspectives. And you're right. There is a measurement of scale. There are some things that you would see, what that's fine, it's okay, it's acceptable. There are some things that you say no, you're pushing boundaries and borders. So I don't think it's an easy question to answer in terms of the myths and so on.
But should they have some kind of restrictions and boundaries?
You're grown adults. If you are two consenting adults who agree to do certain things in the privacy of your own home, and it's between the two of you, then I think the restrictions are based on what you as a couple or a triple allow to happen. Because
you know, I've had people, or I've encountered people who said that, oh, maybe I did this with my husband, even though it was within their home setting, just the two of them. But then she comes out and she feels guilty because she's thinking, maybe I shouldn't.
For me, what are your religious beliefs?
Yeah.
That should be the underlying principle. What are your religious beliefs? Based on that, you make the decision. So when it comes to making love, I mean, if both of you share the same religion, then that makes it easier. You talk about it.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
You have to. You have to talk about it, so that when it gets to the point that you want to do it, you know everything has been laid bare, and you know that the no-go areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Celeste, remember that we did one about oral sex.
Yeah.
And you know, we had this Christian couple. The lady wants it, but the man won't do it because he thinks that it's unholy. So, at what point do you agree, especially if one person wants it so bad?
So for me, that is where, as a couple, they have to be compromised, because in a relationship, it's not just about only you. It's the two of you that comes together to complete the relationship. So as much as I don't want to do it, will that make my spouse happy? Am I ready to make my spouse happy? Am I going to compromise? Am I going to sacrifice? Yeah. It is your choice.
There has to be equal balance and compromise.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's a selfless act. It's not about you yourself. It's about pleasuring your partner.
Yeah.
It's about you doing something that may be outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
But if you doing that gets your partner into a new zone that can stimulate the energy between the two of you, then is it not worth you sacrificing a little bit just to push that little bit further? If the result is enjoyment on both sides.
I think I kind of, understand that. And I've got a comment here that I'm going to read, and it's a bit funny, though. But based on your comment, Selassie, Shelley says, Selassie Pa, how can you lift me up and not guide me down? You do foreplay, and I'm on another level, and you say it shouldn't go down. Anyway, depending on the type, I agree. Thank you so much, Shelley.
Shelley, let's say you're having a long drive somewhere, but at the end of that drive, when you arrive at your destination, there is a board meeting.
Yeah.
So you can get so excited.
Wow, that's an interesting one. Thank you so much, Shelley, for that comment. There's a couple more comments here that I'll read in a bit. But you know, how does foreplay contribute to a relationship? Actually,
it's all about stimulation.
It's all about stimulation.
If you go into a relationship and it becomes a monotonous routine, you simply 9 o'clock comes, you go into the bedroom, you do what you're doing, you come out again the next day or the day after that. 9 o'clock comes, you go and do what you're doing, then suddenly it becomes boring. There is no drive, there is no passion, there is no energy in it. The foreplay beforehand makes that part of it seem all the more enjoyable. It makes you look forward to it more. It builds up the energy more. So to me, it is ridiculously important. It can be the forgotten, you know, appetizer to the main course, but it is important. It should be respected. It needs to have a raised profile. Sometimes you can enjoy a prolonged period of foreplay more so than having a long period of actual sex or intimacy.
And to be honest, I think that sometimes the actual sex doesn't even last that long.
I don't know why you're both looking at me.
No, sometimes, I didn't say all the time, sometimes the actual sex don't last long. So I think that the foreplay, and especially for us women, I'm talking for us women, so more you can talk for men. But I think that for women, foreplay is such a big deal.
Yeah.
Foreplay, it's even better. That is foreplay mixed with a bit of communication and everything. You communicate on all levels. You use all your senses available to you. Every part of your body is busy.
Yeah.
Receiving, giving, receiving, giving. It makes it, I believe that it deepens your intimacy.
Yeah.
It makes, it just puts you on another level because
it's stirring emotions.
Can you just imagine and not having that? If you have foreplay and you're really, really enjoying it, I think that it just brings you closer together in that relationship.
Yeah.
It's the sharing of energy, that passion between the two of you. It's the heartbeats. It sounds a bit corny, but your heartbeats beating as one. But it's the way you both connect. You don't necessarily have to say anything, but just the look across the room and the stroke and touch and feeling.
You can touch each other. You can just feel things passing through your fingers to each other. I remember everybody should go back when you used to date your spouses and you used to sit and you used to hold hands in the restaurant and you can just feel like you get turned on just holding hands and things like that. All these things we used to have it. Why is it not happening anymore?
Yeah, I think the foreplay and sexual satisfaction actually go hand in hand, if you ask me. Because,
yeah.
It really goes hand in hand.
A good foreplay, not just any foreplay. Not just any foreplay.
A good foreplay. You're
good
right.
Quality, good.
Good foreplay.
Fine.
Can inspire good sex.
Yes.
Poor foreplay, you won't even get to the sex part.
That is where we call the annoying sex.
Whoa.
Well, if you have only just tuned in, you are listening to the Bear Talk Show with me, Adwa. We are live on ABN Radio, London's premier Afropolitan station. In here with me, I've got Selassie and Mo Bernard right here. And yes, we are talking about foreplay, the art of foreplay. And we are going to go deeper into what kinds of foreplays there are, the techniques of foreplay and all of that. So yes, some men think that just touching a woman anyhow can cause arousal, but that is not the case. So what are some of the arts and the techniques of foreplay?
Can I put myself into the men bracket who see it in the wrong way? Then I'll just learn lessons from you guys. I think there's a lot of men assume that what they're doing is correct. A lot of men assume that just by touching or flicking or stroking in certain places, it's the way to do it. So there is a lot that men have to learn, I think, from women in terms of, well, what is it that satisfies you and that pleases you? What is it that turns you on? What is it that, is it a case of gently caressing it around, your areola or anything? Does that do anything to inspire? Does that turn you on? Or is that just annoying? But because men, I think I said last time I was here, men are very, very carnal.
Yeah.
Men go straight for, the main show. There's a lot that men can learn about just slowing down, just pacing yourself a little bit. Understanding what she needs and doing what you can do to help bring her to that level, that place. It's patience.
Yeah, so talking about the clicking away, that is, how some men think that they can touch and click anywhere. There is a comment here that I'm going to read right here. And it says that I've had a few just dive right in and try to just click away on my clit like it's a computer mouse. Like first thing, before I'm even undressed. One guy got so, what's this word? Rambunctious? And with his fingers that I felt like I was hooking up with Jack the Ripper.
Oh my days.
Oh dear. Relax, guys. That's a bigger turn on. So relax.
So my question then to the person sending the message would be, well, what exactly is it that a man should do to inspire you or to get you to that place where that doesn't seem so annoying or frustrating?
No, because I think that for men, at times, they think that just touch and do it. But at times, women would like to communicate. Even talking to us is even a turn on at times. But most men don't realize it because they think that just touching, and even the level of touching, it has to be done right. But before I even get to that, I would say that women, we should know our bodies.
Yes.
What do you mean we should know our bodies?
As women, we should know our body. You should get so used to your body. You know which parts of your body is sensitive, what turns you on and everything. You should know it. You should you should be able to touch your body and know.
So just to clarify, you're saying that a woman herself should explore herself to be able to understand.
Yes, because if you don't know yourself, how can you teach somebody to know you?
True.
no, so you have to, first of all, you have to know yourself. You have to know your body.
How do you get to know yourself, though?
Because what I'm saying is that you have to get comfortable in whatever you have to get comfortable with in your own body.
Mm-hmm.
Use your words, Celeste. Use your words. Don't be shy.
Mo is throwing a challenge.
No, for me, I believe that you have to be comfortable. I mean, do you even know the difference between the clitoris and everything down there? Do you know what is what and everything? If you don't know it, this is the time to explore.
And also, do you know what turns you on?
Yeah.
What areas, your erogenous areas and stuff like that?
If you don't know it, if you don't know it, explore and get to know it, so that it will be easier for your partner. Because if you are going to teach your partner, you have to know something to teach. You can't just go be blank and be teaching.
Would you say there is a point in a woman's life, or even in a man's life, when you should have explored, where you should know yourself? And I ask that because you might find that a woman gets into a relationship at, 25, 30 years old, but still doesn't know herself. Yeah. But if a man has gotten to that point where he's explored and he knows, X, Y, and Z.
For me, I would say that whichever age you are comfortable, because, I mean, the women, we have a lot of issues, but at whichever age you're comfortable, you should do it and know your body.
Okay.
Right.
Same goes for men.
Yeah.
Men should know and understand themselves as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should know your body.
Men don't know how to use what they have.
It's so true. It is actually so true. But I think that the other way of exploring or getting to know yourself is maybe with your spouse as well.
Yeah.
So when they're touching you, definitely you'll find spots or areas where when they touch you, you can feel that there's this shivering going down your spine.
Yeah.
And so you know that this is it. So you should be able to pick those points up during foreplay and as time goes on.
We have to be sensitive and we have to listen. So as much as you are discovering, you are because I know that, as you said, some men, they don't listen. Yeah. Because you are telling them that this is what I am enjoying doing, but because it's in their DNA, they put it at yes, I go for the breast. There are ways of kissing, there are ways of touching the breast. Yeah. The bum can also be sensual, and it can also be used in foreplay. How do you touch it? Which parts of your fingers? That is where hygiene and everything comes to play to make it.
This is where the technique comes in.
Beautiful.
Hold on right there. We will be right back.
Tune in to the new ABN Breakfast Show on Monday from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The London City Show has evolved into an all-new breakfast show with sizzling slices of juicy newsy current affairs served with junior jumbo-sized convos on issues you should be aware of. What did I just say? The ABN Breakfast Show, the Afropolitan breakfast you can't afford to miss. What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English breakfast.
Salad, fruit and oranges.
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with... Now that's a suspense. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
I got caught in an addiction and I couldn't find my way out of that cardboard box.
It kept grasping onto me. Before I realized it, I couldn't stop using it.
It comes like a primal instinct. It's god-awful.
I needed a program that would save my life, and I found Narconon.
Narconon gave me my life back, 100%. Call Narconon today at 01435 512 460. 01435 512 460.
This is your girl Diana Hamilton, and you're listening to ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan station. I love this station.
Thank you so much for locking into the Bedtalk Show with me, Ajwa. We are live on ABN Radio, and yes, talking foreplay and all sorts. And going into the art and the technique of foreplay. As earlier I did say that a lot of men, or some men, actually think that just touching the woman anyhow can, create some kind of arousal. In actual fact, it is not necessarily true, because sometimes the strokes might be too hard, it might be too rough, they might be touching the wrong places.
It can just be anyhow.
Yes, and it's really not right. So
like you're laying down the law.
You can tell that I'm passionate about that.
I have no questions. I don't have questions.
So, what are some of the art to it and the technique to it? How do they touch? How do they stroke?
For me, I just want to go back to the basics.
Yes,
the act of even taking each other's clothes off. We've lost that. It's like I take my clothes off and they take it, like we're just waiting for it. And I said, we should stop hooking up. I mean, when you used to gradually take... I mean, if it's a quickie, I understand. But if it's like, it's a full-blown and you're going to really enjoy each other, even taking each other's clothes off, touching with the clothes on, a peekaboo and everything,
But it's the anticipation.
It's all part of it.
Thing, when you took your time and you took clothes off and you were slow, there was an anticipation.
Yeah.
You were looking forward to something. You were building your way towards something. You gradually worked your way towards your destination. You didn't receive the present and it was half opened. The present was fully wrapped, and you teased yourself almost by gradually peeling off layers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pick up this phone call. Hi, good evening. You are live on ABN Radio. This is the Bedtalk Show. Who am I talking to?
You are talking to Kwabena.
Hey, Kwabena. Thank you so much for calling. How are you?
Hello, Adjoa. I'm good, and you?
I am very well, thank you. What have I got? Kwabena Selassie is already drooling over your voice right now. She goes, I love that voice. But anyway, what have you got for us? I think it's all about that foreplay mood. I think we have set you in that mood.
I think you have a nice voice as well.
Oh, he definitely has a nice voice.
One does try.
Yeah. I caught a bit of your show. Good show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm no expert when it comes to the art of foreplay and that stuff, but I want to switch this a bit around. I just want to introduce something different.
Okay.
But before I do that, I agree with everything you guys have said. Foreplay is important. I actually think the quality of foreplay is actually a good indication of a marriage as well.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, I give props up to foreplay. My dad shared something with me. So back where we come from in Ghana, on the coastal side, when the fishermen would come back home from work, they were in a hurry to sleep with their wives. So the women would tie the knots of their cloth extremely hard. They would go to each other and they would pull the knot incredibly tight. So if the man really wanted her, he would have to untie this knot. And as he tried to untie the knot, she would fight against it. So you can imagine what it just created, that moment of what you call it, foreplay for the.
It's a building of energy, a building of passion. The desire is.
You're right. So it just tells you that foreplay is from time immemorial. It's that important. It is important in every relationship. But the problem I have with your discussion is no one is talking about quickies.
Oh, Celeste didn't bring up quickies.
I just mentioned quickie.
She did mention quickies a little while ago.
I must have missed it then.
Yeah.
I must have missed it. What exactly did she say about quickies then? So I don't say the same thing.
Oh, you say it and then I'll add to it.
No, I was just going to say that no one has mentioned quickies.
You know there is a place for quickie in a relationship too.
It's just as important as foreplay.
Yeah.
But isn't a quickie the result of foreplay as well? Foreplay still leads to a quickie.
No, it's not.
Go on, elaborate.
Foreplay is, so you know the society we live in, we're all tired, we get back from work, there's no time to do this, and you don't come back to a bed laid with petals and roses and all that. You know what I'm talking about? That passion when you're walking at home and you walk into the kitchen and you know that kitchen table is the bed.
Yeah. But what made you think that kitchen table is a bed? Is the text messages that she has sent over the communication you've had in the day?
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
I think the connection between
one difficult day,
Uh-huh.
get in, no text, nothing. You've been that busy, and all you need to do is just to see her. Quickie, the solution, not foreplay.
But that depends that you have a quality and you have an intimate relationship. So that energy and that thing is already there. Because if you don't have it, you will not see each other and you think that desire each other and just want to tear the clothes off each other and just have passionate quickie.
If
Yeah.
you don't have it, how do you do foreplay in the first place?
See, to me,
If that's not there, how does foreplay come in?
when you engage and you talk to your partner in a certain way, you could lay the path from last week's Sunday, which builds that passion, builds the desire. At that moment when you come home from work on this Friday evening and you want your partner, you can just take. But the anticipation, the desire has already been laid. So to me, the foreplay is the runway, I said earlier on, that leads towards something. Not necessarily on the same day, but even with a quickie, you still have the factor X that makes you look at your partner in a certain way. And at that split moment, you're both in tune. You both want each other. You both desire the same thing. And then your quickie happens. So to me, the foreplay still happens in the background anyway. But it's making sure that you still indulge in her desires. You do stroke her. You do caress her. You do blow in her ear and so on.
I guess that's the beauty of relationships. They all differ. Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
They all
110%.
differ. They all differ. I have no qualms. The text messages building out through the day is brilliant. I actually draw diagrams of what I want to do to her at night. So it's just something in every relationship. Yes, But I'm just picking on a quickie.
On a quickie.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with foreplay. The quickie is spontaneous. It's the heart beating, eye popping, rendering thing that happens.
I think we'll agree to disagree on this one.
You said you think we have to disagree on it.
Yeah. No, agree to disagree, he says.
I agree to disagree.
Yeah.
That's my contribution. You guys
thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Krivna. Oh, I'm so grateful for this call. Thank you so much.
That was interesting. The caller's point about there being differences in different relationships is very important.
Yeah.
Because what some people might see as being able to just pounce on your partner, other people might say, well, that's just too much. I want you to gradually take me there. So seduction is a really big part.
I like the way. I'm happy you've used the word seduction.
Is the art of you can just look at your partner in a certain way, and you both know something is about to go down.
Yeah, I think from what Kwabena just said, I think it's all about connection as well. It's a connection that you have with your partner. It's that tight click. So you know each other so well that he knows or she knows that if he's not in a good mood, a quickie can sort him out. A quickie can sort her out. And I think it's all about that. But then it's difficult when it comes to couples where there are no tight connections, where they've so drifted apart. That is where we need the foreplay, because then it takes a long time to kind of, like I always say, women are like ovens, men are like microwaves. So women, it takes time.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Oh, yes.
Hold on a minute. Wait a second.
Oh, yes.
Take it in.
I have to defend mankind at this point.
Because a man will just look at a woman, and then whoop, everything is all up, ready to.
You said something just now that fed into what Kwabena was saying, and that was the man or your partner might feel a certain way, and your partner knows that this is what will satisfy, this is what will please you, and then your partner just reacts on that and then jumps in.
Yeah.
In that situation, there is no foreplay.
Yeah.
Because you just see that your partner needs something. Your partner could be just there, down, long day, in the dumps, and you just take off a shirt, undo a belt, and then you go in. In that situation, I will step back on what I said now, and I will say Kwabena was right in that sense. when there is that understanding of what your partner, when you do have that click and you can just apply yourself, then there is no foreplay. There was just a carnal need. But I'm not skipping past your microwave oven comment, Adwa.
No, I think the microwave oven comment is very practical, because we women take time to warm up. Oh, we do, and that's why we.
Actually, not all women. Not all women.
Most women, though. God. Most women.
Well, all men just get straight to it.
Most men.
Oh.
Yeah, most men. I mean, men actually just get aroused by what they see.
Predominantly, yes.
Yes.
But you do find that there are men who need to be wooed as well, who need to be primed, who need to be gradually taken to a point. It depends.
Wow. Okay. That is an interesting one. So what other kind of techniques and arts are there to foreplay? Because we're talking about, the touches, not just touching and, rubbing like there's no tomorrow.
I think there's a lot that you can say about the senses. About taking senses away and heightening other senses. For example, closing your eyes and eating certain things. The anticipation just builds up. Your heart is beating harder. Your brain is thinking about things. You're not thinking about what's right in front of you. Suddenly, your other senses are brought to life. That sudden gentle stroke on your back feels more shocking. It feels more exciting. So there's a lot that you can do.
So would you say that blindfolding actually heighten the senses and stuff like that?
I would. Yes, I believe so.
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay, so what other techniques are there?
For me, even when it comes to touching, I believe we have to touch in different ways, and with clothes on, without clothes on, and as your partner is touching you. I mean, if it's too rough or if you don't like it, say it. Show him or her how to do it.
I don't even think you even need to touch. You can breathe.
Breathe, touch, using your tongue.
But the thing is, how do you tell him when you don't want to deflate him at that moment?
You just move the hand, or you just move, or you just move.
There is nothing worse than stopping to say, "Don't do that there, do that there."
No, so you just move. So you don't.
So Mo,
body
what
language.
Would you say then?
Body language.
How
body language.
You adjust yourself physically to accommodate whatever new position you need, or whatever new stroke you want, or whatever new. You keep the momentum going. You keep the energy alive.
So for instance, let's say if he's doing it so hard, how do you say that? Could you do it a little bit softer?
Then you say softer. You say gently. You say stroke me here. You wouldn't say it in that way, and I wouldn't say it to him, by the way.
Gently.
But you gently, you say.
Even look, our bedroom voices, the voices that we, the voice that we even use when
you talk. Yes, I think that is what people need to develop, because I always say that it is the how. It's how you say it that makes it work or not.
Yeah. It's like, can you do it this way? I mean, it's your voice. So, as we just think, how do you talk to your spouse if you're in that mood? Is it that hard, rigid voice that you talk to the children with, or so?
That is not going to inspire passion.
So what I'm trying to say is that everybody should just take a moment and just think of it, because at times we do certain things and we are not conscious that we're doing it. But it's really important the voice that we use when we're talking, when we're making love, and the voice that we use is really important.
Yeah.
And
it's inspiring.
Yeah, one thing that I picked from Kobnesko phone call as well was that he did say that the quality of foreplay determines the kind of level of relationship that you have.
Yeah, intimacy in a relationship.
Yes, and I think that it's so true, because if you're close, it's peels all over you.
Yeah, if you design your partner in that way.
Some people do fake. And sometimes when you go out there and you see them out there, you're thinking, I want my relationship to be like that. But then when you talk to them and you go deep into it, you realize that, okay, this was a cover-up, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think that to some extent it's true. I think when you've got a tight click and great connection between the two of you, then
and also a tight clicks connection does not just happen. It's something you work on.
We are going to take the news on the top of the hour. We would be right back. Don't go anywhere.
More news, more information. This is ABN News on the Hour.
you just caress, you'd be surprised how much that makes him feel desired, that makes him feel manly. So I would say that there are loads of body parts on a man. I don't think we should think that only women have sensuous body parts that like to have touched. Men, as much as women, like caressing. They like hands-on. They like hands to be stroking through their hair. They like their back to be rubbed. They like the hands to go from the chest down to the waist, down to the where, to the where, to the where. Anything. I don't think there is a limitation on where you can or can't touch. It's just how you touch it. Do you put your hand on the small of my back, hard and firm, or do you stroke my back to make me feel the tingling sensation? So it's all about how you touch and how you feel. As I was saying to Celeste earlier on, I don't think there is anywhere on the body, man or woman, that cannot be touched in a sensuous or sensual way.
Okay, now let me read the story, because these people would be listening to it. Now, this man says that, and that's what I've themed the breastplay dilemma. This man says that I am obsessed with my wife's breasts, but she hates having them touched, as she says that it's too sensitive and can be painful at times. She has banned me from touching her breast during sex. I am like most guys and have always been a breast man. I enjoy touching, caressing, and kissing breasts and nipples too. Anytime I try to touch, rub, or caress them, she goes cold and turns away from me. It is a huge turn off for her. She doesn't like to associate her breast with sex. Now, to make matters worse, my former girlfriend enjoyed all the breast play too. So I get very frustrated sometimes. What should I do? And so my question here is that, do people have a fear of foreplay? Is it because they are just uncomfortable with it? And what can be done to overcome it? So first of all, if this woman is going through this, that doesn't want her boobies to be touched, is there a point where she needs to compromise just for the sake of the husband?
If she doesn't become aroused by her breast being touched, and if it is indeed painful, then you have to respect that. If you cause your partner pain, they're not going to be open to engaging in anything else.
Yeah.
So there is a question around finding out what it is that makes her aroused. If it isn't her breasts, is it, the lips between her hips? Is it the small of her back? Can you do certain things somewhere else that allows her to get to the arousal point? To kind of keep approaching the point that makes her suffer wouldn't really be fair on her.
Well, that's a question we need to ask. But is it fair on him to deprive him from all these booby action?
I think that when it comes to a relationship and when it comes to sex and all other things sexual, breasts, there are lots of, if you take a human being's body, there are lots of other parts that can bring pleasure. And as Mo said, you don't want to cause your wife pain. So if it's not bringing any pleasure, why don't you explore? Forget about your ex-girlfriend. She's an ex for a reason. So why don't you concentrate, explore in other parts of the body? Yeah. You used to be a breast man, but maybe you'll be a bum man, or there are other places to explore. So explore your wife's body. Make her happy. Leave the breast alone and enjoy other parts of her body.
And I think the point of asking if it's fair on him is valid. It's a viable question. But then the question should then be, well, do you love your partner enough to make them suffer? Do you want to put your needs ahead of your partner and just go for what you want as opposed to what they want? Because as you said earlier on, it's 100% each. It's give, it's take.
Yeah.
You're both in for the same thing. So if you love your partner and you want them to be happy and you still want to engage in the physical side of things, what you wouldn't want to do is do what you want to cause her pain. So I can understand his point. I can understand his suffering, because if you are a breast man, you're a breast man. If you're an arse man, you're an arse man. To have the thing that inspires your energy or your emotion be out of reach can be challenging, to say the least. But then you would have to question, well, how can I still get to where I want to or need to get to while still taking my partner along on that journey? And if there is pain involved, then you have to kind of step away from what you want and more so look at, well, how can we get to a certain place without causing you pain?
And also, I mean, if she's having pain, how are you touching the breast? How are you kissing the breast? How are you doing it?
Exactly.
That is one thing we have to, because if she would compromise, then both of you have to try techniques that will help you, that will help her. Is it sensitive at a particular time of the month? Is it a medical situation? What can be done about it? All these avenues need to be explored. And so that you also have to know how you touch it, because I believe that I'm a breast man, and some men are maybe too rough on the breast.
Yeah.
Is that the case? If that's the case, then try and talk about it, and then gradually start touching her and see how you do it. I mean, your nails have to be filed. I mean, she's very sensitive. Your fingers has to be moisturized, because you want to, you are doing it for her. Moisturize, your fingers are really moisturized very well. And then as you're touching her, gentle strokes, I mean, and let's explore, experiment, and see
that's a good
whether
point.
it can be done.
I think I made the mistake of assuming that the breasts were being approached in a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas you're right, there could be sensitivities on her side, and it may be a case of there could be some rough engagement going on.
So it's the way that he is actually delivering that technique.
Yeah. Out of the excitement and everything.
Because some people grab the boobies like they are kneading bread. No, seriously.
And have to bear in mind, there's a line here as well, because there are some women who want to be grabbed.
So let me tell you that I want it. Let me tell you that I want it hard. I want it firm. And in in addition, will she be okay with some silky lingerie on and you touch her with the clothes on?
But then this blurs the line with Kwabina's point earlier on of you just taking and just being, you go for your quickie. Because if you're going for your quickie, then you do not have time to put lingerie.
No, what I'm trying to say is that because hers is really is one case in 1,000. So with that one, you just try different things. That's what I'm saying. Like a silk nightie, and with the smoothness of the fabric and everything, maybe that barrier between your spouse's fingers and your hands and everything would help ease that sensitivity.
I think in this situation, we should bring tools and toys into it.
Yeah.
I think in this situation, there is the scope to try using a feather for a very light touch to see if that still has the same.
Oh, right.
To see if the hand is very hands-on, could using a feather just to gently, what does that do? Does that give you a degree of sensitive touch from the man's perspective?
Yeah.
Should you be going in very, very lightly? Should you just drip a little bit of water and just blow on it? What does that do? Is it always sensitive, or is it a case of the application, the way you're holding, the way you're squeezing, the way you're using your fingers? Is that too strong or too much?
So, Mr., if you are hearing, as Mo has just suggested, a very, important tool that could work, a feather, just a feather, could probably,
just tease.
So that could work. So maybe it might be something that you want to look into. But then what other things can he also do? Okay, if the breast is not too much available, what other kind of foreplay moves can he indulge in?
The whole body, Ajwa.
Yes, so tell
from the head to the toe. When you look at your wife's face, kissing, touching, kissing the face and everything. Some people enjoy being kissed, blowing all around your faces, the back of their ears, the neck. And even you can even do just across the chest, but not really attacking the breast itself. Some people have things with their underarm.
There is a lot to be said for Johnson & Johnson's baby oil. This is not an ad for Johnson & Johnson's, but at the same time, there's a lot to be said for massage oils.
Yeah, so
use a massage oil, hot oils, warm oils, apply the oil and just caress. Let your hand glide on the curves and go through the entire body, the thighs, the calves, the everything. If you happen to stumble across other areas in between cavities, then good for you. But you should still just gently go through the whole body, the top of the neck.
Just be naked together and just explore. I mean, with the right lighting and everything, just warm water, just with a good music on the background, and just explore each other's body. I mean, I think I said on this show about just being naked and just cuddling up together in bed and just being naked and just enjoying each other and feeling each other's heartbeat and everything. All these things are really important.
So a couple of comments. Well, someone is saying that why can't the woman tell him exactly how she wants it? Yeah, that's so true. That's one thing we're debating about. But you know that especially, I think we African women, sometimes we are a bit timid because purely we don't want the man to think that, you know, wasai, you know, that kind of mentality. And so we are timid, and sometimes we just don't want to express the way we feel. I don't think that is right. I think that if you're feeling anyhow, it is right for you to let your partner or your spouse, you know.
There's no guessing game. We're not, you know, mentalists here. You should be telling your partner what you want and what you desire. I think it's unfair for any man to feel that he can just go in and dominate. And I think it's also unfair for a woman to sit back and just expect some domination. You have to let your partner know what you want. Otherwise, you won't get it. You have to communicate. You have to talk. If you want to be held in a certain way, touched in a certain way, I'm not saying just lay it out as an agenda, but you can engage. You're right. Turn the lights down. Do get into some massaging. Do whisper in each other's ear. Hold me here. Touch me there. Move your hand down. Just stroke a little bit gently. Stroke me harder. Stroke me harder. And more and more and more. You can still communicate in the right way and deliver your message. It doesn't have to be right. Let's sit down for a conversation now. I just want you to know that you touched my clitoris a little bit too hard. You can still talk. Have a bath together. Have a shower. While you're showering, wash it. You can do certain things and still deliver your message. It's important.
Now, talking about clitoris and touching, is there a right way of fingering your spouse or your
At this point, I'm in reverse.
No, for me, what the reasons because everybody on what they call their fancy, but I believe that the hands. I mean, pay attention to hygiene when you want to go in there.
Yeah, trim your nails.
The nails and everything. That would be the basis. But start gently. Enter gently and just don't do it as if you're typing on the keyboard and everything.
So if there were 3 top tips that every man should know in terms of how to treat the vaginal area, what are those 3 top tips? I know gentle touching is one of them, because you cannot just go in hard and fast. But what should every man know? I'm learning lessons here, by the way. I'm not saying that I don't know, but at the same time, there's nothing more valuable than hearing from a woman what a woman wants.
I think that taking the strokes and the touching very light and gentle, well, dependent on the woman, depending on, I think for most women, the clitoris is the most sensitive part for most women, because it has thousands nerve endings there. Yeah. So most women kind of feel a lot more of sensation when they are touched down there. But then again, it depends on how you touch it. If it's too hard, if it's too rough, then it's not enjoyable because the person ends up getting...
Adjoa, no, it's not everyone who wants it gentle.
No, it depends on who you are with. Some women want it gentle, some women want it hard. So you need to know the kind of person you're with and how they want it.
So you still have the issue of communication. You still have the issue of sharing the needs and desires.
So you start gentle, and then if she wants it deeper, harder, firmer, she tells you.
Yeah, but it depends on where the deeper is and where the firmer is. The deeper could be inside when the fingers go into the vagina, but they might not want it hard on the clitoris, but deeper into the vagina. So it's
the
all
thrusting of the fingers in the vagina.
Exactly.
This conversation took a very, very steep turn.
So talking about that, someone says that there's nothing is more awkward than when a guy is fingering me and just like hovering over me and staring at me. Kiss me. I don't care where, but don't just lie there creepily. What is so difficult about doing those 2 things at the same time? So yeah, these are some little nuggets for you men here.
There's a sense of naivety on men's sides, because you do find that, like I said, men are very well. Just go for it. The main aim for a guy is to have sex, not necessarily to. Don't slap me for saying this now. Not necessarily to waste time in the foreplay. So a lot of men will want to go to the main game. They don't want the warm-up acts. They want to go straight to the main comedian.
You see why I say the men are like microwaves? I think you need to agree with me right here, because you did not want to agree with me.
I don't want to go out here and be attacked by men. So there's a lot that men kind of go for. They don't necessarily understand the emotions and the sensual things that women want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are lessons that men can learn. There are lessons about what a man can do to pleasure a woman. Obviously, from communicating and talking to women.
So what are some of the things that a man can do to pleasure a woman? I want you to go into them.
Silence. You see that dead ear?
I know.
And the look.
The obvious things. You can use your tongue in ways that you wouldn't normally think of using your tongue.
Okay,
so tell us so. You can gently caress areas of the body in ways. You can use saliva. You can stroke. You can squeeze. You can do all. It isn't just about penetration. It isn't just, because even if you were to wet a body part and just gently blow on it, that will still allow the tingling sensation to come to life. You're not touching anywhere. You've literally just wet, blow, and allow that cold breeze to make the areola, for example, firm up, to become aroused, to become stimulated. You can lick from, between bosoms down to navel and anywhere else. It isn't just about using your fingers and diving into anywhere. You can just hold firmly and just squeeze and pull closer and feel that body energy. It isn't all about just going straight for the vagina. It isn't all about getting in between the lips. It isn't all about that.
You see, these are the things that we want to know. We want the men to know so that they can handle some women a bit more.
There are myths that a man doesn't cry. There are myths that a man doesn't, do the sensual side of things. But let's put those myths to one side for a moment.
Okay.
Men do cry. Men do like to be sensual. Men do like to approach and touch. It might not be a masculine thing to do, which then leads to men not doing it. But men do like to do it.
But do you think that sometimes it's complacency and taking each other for granted?
Complacency always comes into it. And we can't always use the excuse of, well, I was busy and I had a hard day. We can't always say that. You can forget yourself and lose yourself in yourself. You can go straight to the vagina and behave as if your partner should be ready. Men do that. At the same time, there are some women who do that as well. But it's different for a man. And all a man has to do is have some blood flow from his head down to his penis, inflate some balloons, and he's good to go. But with a woman, you need to be lubricated. You need to be excited to the point where you become wet, you become moist.
Why is it that at the beginning of a relationship, it's all so sweet, juicy, lovely, and all of that thing?
Because you're seducing your partner. It's the roller coaster. You're on that roller coaster, gradually going up until you get to that point. Once you get to that point, that's where complacency sets in.
You get your climax and then you hit a steep.
That's where complacency sets in. Up until that point, you're wooing, you're stroking, you're caressing, you've got your umbrella out, you're looking after her, you're taking off your coat. When you get to that point at the top, suddenly you become complacent. You feel that you don't have to necessarily work your way towards it.
But that is where at times, like, I'm not this not really attached to, but date night and all these things, if you work it in your relationship and say that as you're reaching the peak and you are really taking each other for granted, we scheduled to have a date night this time. Even though it is a routine and we're doing it, out of that routine, something good happens. Because if we don't have it planned that we're having a date night, what mechanism or what do we have to take care of each other's relationship? What are we doing?
You wouldn't do.
So there is nothing. But so as much as we create certain routines, I know that we talk about being spontaneous. There is also that. But I believe that when we have these set things in our relationship, like we have a date night, we do these things. It helps us when we become complacent in our relationship. You go on that date night and it gives you a wake-up call. Oh, it's been a while since we do that. And then you check each other and you're beginning to work on each other's. You work on each other because you realize that I've neglected my spouse.
Yeah.
Based on that, because I said you create the extraordinary out of the ordinary. The ordinary things that you are doing, because
you create the extraordinary
out of the ordinary. Because life is such a way that you have to steal that 30 minutes, that 20 minutes. Let's talk about flashing of the boobs, touching of the hands, the text messages. Everything is important. Let's climax, but let's not take a sharp dive down. No. Even if you are diving down, quickly come back up again. Work on it.
There's a lot to be said for teasing.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think teasing is awesome. There's a lot to be said for pushing to an edge and then pulling back.
Yeah.
And then pushing to an edge and pulling back. And then when the point comes where you feel that you just can't pull back again, you go for gold. But you should tease, caress, and show, I want you in a certain way. Oh, but don't touch me. Oh, no, come. No, wait. That kind of drive.
Because the friendship elements of relationships are no longer there. Relationships are so serious. Like we're not, because if I'm friends with you, that's when I can tease you and you will not take it the wrong way. But in a relationship, we've lost that friendship. That playfulness, we don't play.
Yeah.
We don't play.
And you need to. To me, you need to show your partner that you love them, that you care for them. You need to caress them. You need to let them know that you find them sexy, regardless of how they feel about themselves.
Exactly.
You need to touch, squeeze.
That is why I said in a relationship, it's not about you. It is about the other person. It's about your spouse. Because if I want to concentrate on me, I'll be selfish. But I'm going to put my needs, my feelings, everything to one side. Yeah. And focus my attention on you. I don't really want to do this, but because I love you so much, I'm going to do it.
There is nothing more sexy than your partner putting themselves out in that way.
Yeah.
For me, you're going to do that for me.
And I know that you wouldn't have normally done that.
Away. Just for that, you get two
brownie points.
Whoa. Anyway, you are listening to the Bear Talk Show with me, Adjoa, and we are live on ABN Radio, London's premier Afropolitan station. And right here in the studio with me is Mo and Selassie. And yes, we are talking about the art of foreplay. Discuss a little bit about the dilemma of the breastplay. And I'm hoping that this gentleman is picking the little nuggets that we dropped for him, to be able to, try his luck, get a feather, use it.
There is no magic pill. All you can do is try
different to explore
styles,
different styles,
techniques, different paces, different everything.
Okay, so you could give us a call on 0208-670-7300, 0208-670-7300. You could also send us a WhatsApp message on 0788-7475-940. And thank you so much for everyone that's been sending the messages. When we come back, we will be talking a bit more into the art and the techniques of foreplay. Stay tuned.
Consider that life wasted. Consider the heart of the family ripped apart. Consider the potential never realized. Are these the things you consider when you carry a knife? It's not about street cred or respect. It's about staying alive. Drop that knife and save a life. Quentin Slowly, supporting all family and young people.
What do you like for breakfast?
Well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I'm happy, I like a little bit of porridge with banana because I'm feeling healthy. If I'm in a...
Me, I like a bit of fruit. Nice apples, sliced apples.
I love
banana.
a cinnamon and raisin bagel, some scrambled eggs, and a...
I say nice English breakfast.
Salad, fruit and oranges.
I like wholemeal bagel with a bit of cream cheese on it and some bacon and then some avocado. And on the side, I like to have
fried egg with bacon, with baked beans, toast.
I normally take my cocoa. Yeah, I'm a Ghanaian. I'm a typical Ghanaian, so I like my cocoa.
I'm not too sure. I normally don't eat breakfast.
It doesn't matter how you like your breakfast, or you may not like breakfast at all, but you will love the sound of your radio when the breakfast is Afropolitan. Watch out for the new ABN Radio Breakfast Show with... Now that's a suspense. ABN Radio, London's Afropolitan radio station.
They've got to find those extra cups to fill. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil.
This is ABN Radio.
It's really my type of music.
We play your genre of music.
Welcome back to the Bedtalk Show. We are live on ABN Radio, and so talking about foreplay and the art, the technique of it. So Mo Selassie, how do we set that tone for foreplay? And before you answer it, let me give you an example or something that someone that I know did. And I think that she is listening. She's all the way in the US of A. But yeah, I remember one of the shows she actually called me and says to me that what she did that got her spouse crazy. And her spouse went to work and she was at home. She had the day off that day. So she decided that during her spouse's lunch break, she knows around about the time that he takes lunch, she prepares his favorite sandwich for him, put on her morning gown with nothing underneath, drive to his workplace to deliver the sandwiches. So obviously when he comes out to the car to collect the sandwiches, peekaboo, see, there's nothing underneath in my morning gown. And apparently that drove the guy crazy. It's like all the rest of the day, he could not wait to come home to what awaits him. So, you know, that is something that you can do, or create your own kind of fantasy or excitement within the relationship. Over to you, Laura.
For me, I would say that you should work on your communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You should, because if you don't communicate in a relationship, all these things that we are saying, it will be very, very difficult to get to. So, and also, let's not lose our friendship element, the playfulness.
Mm.
Because if we can't play, I mean, how you play with each other, I think I mentioned that I play Scrabble with my spouse, but it's not just playing Scrabble, but playing Scrabble, we've upgraded it, and it's now really, really fun way of playing Scrabble. So, whatever works for you. I just want us to give really, really example. Okay, I would like listening to music together. What's your favorite music in the house? When you want to set the tone, what sort of music are you listening to in the house? You have the radio on. What sort of programs are you listening to? All these things are really, really important.
They are important. But I think coming from the angle that Andrew just gave us the example, the teasing your partner, the coming out of the bathroom with your dressing gown and just dropping the dressing gown, teasing in that way, showing that you love, and even if you went out for dinner, I'm not saying that you guys will do this, and you gave your partner your knickers.
Do it.
Okay, there you go. And you gave your partner your knickers just to say, listen, I'm thinking about this. Here are my knickers. Are you thinking about it too? Or even just planting the seed to inspire the thought is completely different. Because it's all about what you do to get your partner from 0 to 100 like that. Yes, opening the door in your dressing gown and just showing that there is nothing under the gown. Coming to work in your gown, that's a bit much.
No, the guy was at work. She was not at work. She only drove there. And obviously gave him a phone call.
And so she was in her gown with nothing underneath.
So, yes, but
in
she is just sitting in the car.
I mean, please, I'd love sandwiches delivered.
If somebody's listening,
you'd love sandwiches. Things, they are important. Because what you're talking about is planting the seed that then inspires that thought. But there's also the follow through. Because if you do come to work with a dressing gown, you have to anticipate 3 hours time he's going to come home from work. I need to maintain that energy, that level. So when he comes, I'm ready. I planted the seed at 12, but it's 4:30 now. He should be coming through the door in 3, 2, 1. As soon as he comes through the door, everything's open.
I love that.
As the door's open, you're ready.
And I think that was her intention, and I believe that it did happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take the call that's coming through, and we shall progress from there. Good evening. You are live on the Bedtalk Show. This is ABN Radio. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Ajwa. You're speaking to Priscilla. How are you?
Hey, Priscilla. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, your show is far too exciting. I can't keep myself.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hello, this is Selassie, and I didn't catch the guy's name.
Mo.
Mo. Hi, guys. Hello. You're
Hello.
destroying my Friday evening because I'm actually single, but I'm listening anyway.
Oh, that's good.
I just wanted to add just a little bit, and I think you've all touched on it, and it's just that I think you can describe whatever you want. I think the two people need to know each other. They need to be friends. They need to have that connection. Otherwise, all these things you're talking about are kind of just a little bit. I don't want to use the word fake, but it's almost
insincere.
rehearsed. I think. I was listening to your friend who went in the gown.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they didn't have a quickie in the car before he went back upstairs. He just picked up the sandwiches and went back to the office.
I know.
Odd,
maybe it was just the broad daylight. So.
Well, I don't know. They can drive to the nearest car park or whatever. He's got an hour's lunch.
Maybe he only had a 10-minute break.
But because that's going to excite the guy for the rest of the day. I don't know if he did any work, but. What I wanted to say was I think if there's communication between the two, foreplay could be anything. It could be dirty text messages. It could be phone calls at work. It could be anything. You could be cooking dinner. He could come and give you a hug. I don't think it even has to be so scientific, It could be if the two of you are in love with each other, it doesn't even matter what it is, that connection is there. And I think when we start thinking, we've got to do this, and I've got to touch your breast, and I've got to kiss you, and I've got to... those are all lovely, but between two people, it could be anything. It could be the look. It could be a touch. Anyway, it just could be, I think quickies are foreplay as well. And I think,
which is what Kovna said earlier.
Yeah, definitely. You don't always have to do the whole stage, and then get to, it could be, it could be, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes we overthink it a little bit. And the poor guy's thinking, I need to do this and this and this and that before I can, get to the, follow it through to the... I don't know. I'm just thinking about, as a woman, what I would like.
I think you're right on point.
I agree, because you can overthink the foreplay side of things. You can push it to the point where it becomes a chore. It's no longer enjoyable.
Yeah.
You've overcomplicated it. Absolutely. It should be... Just relax yourself and enjoy each other's embrace, warmth, talk, touch, kiss, whatever. Without
if you're in love with somebody, honestly, it doesn't take much. He could pick up your drink and put it to your lips, and you could be turned on, or it could be anything. I don't even think we should. I think all the things you're mentioning are great. And this and that, and touch it, not hard, not soft, not. I just think I'm just sitting there thinking it's too much to think about. You need a book. To write it down and think, hold on, have I done number 1, number 2?
No, it shouldn't be that mechanical. But then we're just throwing ideas out there so that you can pick and choose which one works for you. Because we've gotten to the point where people have become so complacent, so lazy, even in their relationship, that they just sit down and do nothing. But then obviously when you become a little bit intentional and start making that little effort, I think that it makes a relationship a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. Everything you guys are saying is correct. I just think that, I think when the connection is there between two people, it doesn't even, it's weird. When you're in love with a guy, it doesn't matter what he does, he's done the right thing. But if you're not so in love with him, then he's got to work harder. And I think a lot of marriages, unfortunately, in relationships, the spark has gone, and then they're working so hard. And I do agree with people having to work hard. But I think when you get to the point in your relationship where you're working so hard, there's something a little bit wrong. It just has to be, it has to flow. Do you know what I mean? And I just think, when you start working hard, it's like, do you really love the guy? And I think most of, maybe I don't want to say most, but a lot of maybe African or black marriages, I'm not sure. There's a lot of lack of
connection,
spark and romance there, and there's too many headaches and too many I don't feel well and too many I'm tired. And I think that doesn't help. Do you know what I mean? We need to take some iron tablets and be on the game every day. And it will just come naturally. But I
Yeah.
don't want to take up your time. But I'm loving the show. I'm listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Priscilla.
It all down.
Bless you. And do not go anywhere. Just wait for the end and listen to our sex tip too.
I will. I've got my notepad ready.
Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Bye
much for
now.
calling.
Bye.
All right, thanks. So that was Priscilla. Ain't she just sweet? Thank you so much for your comment and your phone call. I think that it's so true. But then Priscilla made a point, and I just want to clear it out right here, that it shouldn't be mechanical.
No.
It should not be. It should be natural. You just have to flow with it. But then if you are not natural with it, just be a bit intentional about how you deal with things, and see how it goes. You know, how do we set the tone? You know, you could so far we're talking about kissing and touching and fingering and what have you, but little things like even having a shower together.
Yep.
You know, even kissing under the shower while the
That's
shower
my
just
ordinary.
It's not even just that. You can watch TV together,
Yeah.
and just so happen to allow your hand to slip down a top or two. It can happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be overly, but at the same time, you have to be open to that engagement. You have to be open to being caressed. You have to be open to your partner, you know, stroking your hair in a certain way.
Yeah.
There has to be give and take. There has to be the back and forth. If you recognize that your partner is feeling a certain way and you're not, then do you allow yourself to embrace and run with it or roll with it, or do you just put up a brick wall and stop it? And if you're not ready for it, then you can turn around and talk and say things in a certain way to, you know, let's do this in the morning or whenever, without completely shutting things down. But it's how you handle it as a couple and allow the two of you to share the emotion and the embrace. It's all about partnership.
It's all about partnership. So what other tips can you give us about foreplay?
I would just say that, I mean, for those in London, we have good bus system. Just sit on top of a bus and just take a drive through London and just hold hands and just enjoy the view. I'd
be a little bit more risque than that.
I just didn't want to say, but I mean, if it's a nice summer's evening, you can just take a walk and just hold hands. Out of that holding hands, things can happen.
And the thing is, if you're one of those that's sitting at the last row or last seat of the bus where it vibrates a lot more, takes you into a certain degree of excitement, then of course, you know.
Where is the seat on the bus, Adra?
Just the top deck of the bus.
Yeah, or even the bottom bit, but then the last seat, you know, where it vibrates. I think it's where the engine is, and it vibrates a lot more. And
I think there's a lot to be said for caressing each other in public without people noticing or seeing that you're caressing each other.
Yes.
Being cheeky, being a little bit risque.
But for me, I like the public display of affection.
Yeah, sometimes you want to touch certain places that you don't want someone to know that you're touching. So you could be at a cinema or in a crowd somewhere, and then you still want to kind of touch
in church.
You know.
That's well.
What is wrong with just grabbing your spouse and giving a kiss? Just a passionate kiss in church? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
There is nothing wrong with kissing your partner passionately anywhere.
Yeah.
Church or anywhere. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But I think there's a level beyond just kissing that is supposed to inspire and incite the kickstart of things.
Because for me, I'm for now like breaking barriers. That's me.
Yeah, but then you cannot, for instance, I understand where Mo is coming from, because you cannot actually just, you know, grab your spouse by the crotch or something.
No,
in public. But then you can do it in a sly way that he himself,
your hand just so happens to brush
kind of brushes. It brushes without anybody.
So
it's
no
just
one has seen. No one has noticed.
Exactly.
But the two of you at that point.
No one has gone down.
Your brains are somewhere
else.
Is
that element of being a little bit naughty, you know, and trying to hide it somehow?
Because in that situation, a room of 50 people, only 2 people know what has happened. You and your partner. You two are on a completely different wavelength.
Yeah.
Your foreplay senses, your thought, your imagination is kicking in. You haven't gone anywhere. You're both still going to get your drink from the Nando's soda fountain. But at the same time, you're both thinking, when I finish this piece of chicken, wait till I get you home. Just because of the little stroke and the touch of the flip So,
Carl, thank you so much for your comment. Carl is listening all the way from Canada, and he says that I really never cared about sandwiches until a few minutes ago. How can I have some sandwiches delivered soon? That is interesting. Classic. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, you know, I think that these little things, dropping notes here and there, text messages, you know, I can't wait for you to come home. I'm waiting for you to show you a thing or two. All these little things, I think, can spark things.
Yeah, it's the anticipation. Just knowing that there's a chance, there's a moment that could happen. Walking in through the front door and thinking, you know what, I think, maybe, possibly, your heart's beating.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it. You're waiting to break up and see what's lying behind it. And if it isn't in a certain way, then your mind is still thinking, you know what, I want her.
Sex toys.
I'm going to approach her in a certain way.
Sex toys. Are they considered part of foreplay?
Yes.
Yes.
There isn't any reason why a sex toy couldn't be part of foreplay.
Sex toys, sex aids.
Yeah.
They are.
It still just depends on how you use it.
Mm.
If you're using it in a way to stimulate the energy, the emotion, and the want and desire, then yeah, you can use it as a foreplay tool.
Is there a possibility of getting hooked on it or getting addicted to that?
No, because you're using it to stimulate. Like Mo gave the example of the feather for the breast play, a dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is being used as an I prefer to use the word sex aid instead of sex toys, because it's aiding you.
Yeah.
It's not replacing anything in a relationship. It's just it's just bringing that passion. You are using it to help in the process. So feathers, everything, oils, music. I mean, I think that every couple should have like a playlist of music that they would want to do when they play around the house when they are getting sensual and everything. All these things, you have that your little drawer that you have the tissue, the towels, and everything in, and we should invest in that. We should invest in that.
Especially if you're missing the spark or the energy. You should bring something in that the two of you agree to use to inspire. You might want to get dressed up.
Yeah, and then men, when we wear all those lacy numbers for you, at times it's uncomfortable. So when we do wear it, do appreciate it and do recognize it and do appreciate it.
And when we buy those edible panties as well, eat them and eat them well.
Guys, I'm representing all the guys out there.
That's true.
So what other kind of sex toys or sex aids can you involve in foreplay?
There isn't a limit as to what you can use. You can look around the kitchen and find something.
Mm-hmm.
You can look in the kitchen and find sparkling water. You can find something, cream and oils and whatnot. You can find all sorts.
The ice creams and the melted chocolates and whatnot.
Why not?
The whipped cream, everything. I mean, what you have, you can just. There isn't any rule. Whatever it's comfortable. Whatever excites you, you just have to be you just have to be creative.
I was thinking the same word.
You have to be very, very creative in your relationship.
Yeah, because it isn't just a case of, well, what toys or so, and you don't need a toy. You can use plain water. Water used in the right way, dribbled in a certain way. You know, if you were to saturate
ice
body parts
cubes,
a certain way, it can do wonders. You don't necessarily need anything very, very.
Do you have leftover grapes? Do you have leftover strawberries from preparing the kids' sandwiches and everything? You don't. Anything can be used if you're creative and if you are open-minded.
Okay, can I just pick this call and then we would be right back to continue the discussion. Hello, good evening. This is the Bedtalk Show. You are live. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Edra. It's Priscilla again. I'm just
thank you so much for calling again, Priscilla.
Your list, but you forgot Bailey's. That's a good one.
Oh, wow. Yes, actually. Actually, that is good as well. And what other things can you tell us, Priscilla?
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm just being silly now.
No, you never know, someone could try it and they might like it.
Oh, I heard Mo say water and I thought, come on, man, Bailey's. Come on.
No, Bailey's giving you the creamy sensation. Yeah, Bailey's right up there. But the point I was making is you don't even need to think that elaboratively.
I know, I'm just being silly now.
You can just dive straight in.
I was just laughing because you guys are really, exciting.
Oh, thank you.
But Another thing is when you're in the car, you're in the car, he's driving, you're sitting on the passenger seat, your hands are free. What can you do with your hands while he's driving? And as you say, being a bit naughty, you might even have kids in the back seats, but you could do something discreetly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wear a dress, you wear a skirt with no knickers on, legs open wide and everything.
There you go. Is that classy?
There's a lot to be said for that.
Conversation, but I'll let you go.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. Thanks so much for listening. Okay.
So that was Priscilla again. And yes, actually, Bailey's also work.
Bailey's, whipped cream.
Yeah.
It gives you that creamy sensation. It can work.
And all that strawberries all over. I mean, some people say it's not practical, but then I think it's that conscious effort that you make.
You have to bear in mind that there is an entire fetish stream that is focused around how you use food to engage in sexual enjoyment.
Yeah.
There's people who use, whipped cream and, milk, even ice cream.
Yeah,
and
ice cream is
that
good.
is the thing that gets them going. Food can be used. Anything.
But the fact is that if we don't explore, we would not know. And that is when our relationship become boring and stale and everything. But pushing the boundaries, exploring, introducing new things, seeing which works and which one does not work. Because we have to grow in our relationship.
Yes.
We grow together beautifully. If we don't grow, we are just there and our relationship die.
Yeah, you become stagnant.
Yeah.
There is a need to broaden. Go past your comfort zone. Step out of it.
Yeah.
Try new things. If you do the same thing for 10 years, then trust you me, in the 11th year, you're going to be bored of it. You have to, let's try something else. Let's introduce something into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Let's introduce, let's be cheeky with a tripod and a camera. Let's go down a road that we wouldn't normally do. Let's make ourselves a little bit uncomfortable and see how we feel about it. Do that kind of thing. See how far you can push each other. What are your boundaries? Well, let's try and go a little bit further than that. If you like it, you like it. If you're not, you're not. But you've had the experience together. You can laugh and joke about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And even that moment of laughing and joking could inspire re-engaging and trying something else.
Sex and everything in the bedroom, it has to be taken outside the bedroom. We have to explore. Let's open our minds. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Try it. It's not just the bedroom. And even in the bedroom, it's not just on the bed. You have a bedroom, you have space, the floor, you have other things. Try it. And music, I know, dance together.
You like the music side, don't you?
No, what I'm trying to say is that the nakedness, dance.
I think sometimes it's
cuddle
beautiful
up,
dancing.
Cuddle up in the comfort of your bedroom and just dance and just enjoy the embrace and bodies rubbing against each other, breast to breast and everything. Cuddle up, breathing together and just smelling each other. All these things are things we can do.
No, I agree. But it's all about how much you can excite that energy in your partner. Excite that desire.
That's the
and
thing.
even if the desire isn't there, it's the things that you can do that triggers that excitement. That gets them to go from, I'm watching Emmerdale Farm, to, I'm watching a TV program, to, I want to see what you look like without no knickers on. The top can stay, but everything down below must go. It's how you get from 0 to that point.
What you say, just like I think a point has to come that you have to be able to tell your spouse that, take it off and I want to see it. It's just like, say you're watching TV and in the comfort of your home, no children and everything, and I just want to see what is down there, and you do it, and out of that creates the fun and excitement.
But you have to both be into it. You have to both. You have to be able to sit down, and your partner comes in, and you just say, "Listen, look, turn around," and you just show what's under your t-shirt.
That is why you need to work on your relationship for you to be able to get that connection and that intimacy.
If you are not all about friendship,
if you are not working on the relationship, you cannot get there. You can't. You have to. That's the destination. If years of working on your relationship will get you there, but if you just leave your relationship, it will not happen.
Yeah,
well, you have to include it. I've always said that sex and the energy around sex is the elastoplast in a relationship. Whenever anything is wrong, just having that intimacy, that engagement, you'll soon see how much you can get past the issues that you have when you just engage in a little bit of skin to skin embracing. When you break a sweat together. When you both. You work your way through 2 liters of water because there's so much energy and so much passion. The blanket is on the floor, and suddenly the things that was issues before have drifted away.
They are no longer issues.
Sex is the elastoplast to me in any and every relationship.
Yeah.
You have to engage. You have to encourage it. You have to tease it out of your partner. And if they're not if they're not ready for it, then go in. Use your fingers. Use your lips. You just get them to a place where they might want to, and then
tease.
No, how I wish most men were like that.
Oh, I was like that.
I wish most men were like that. So what are some of the erogenous areas that people need to concentrate on? And then in that we will kind of give our last words. And,
actually, I think we said that every part of the human body.
You want specifics?
Yes, I mean, I don't think every part. I think there are certain parts that are more, that are normal and more.
Okay, so with men, men do like their nipples to be squeezed and pinched and licked and touched.
There you go.
As much as you often think about a woman as having nipples, blah, 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 men do like their nipples to be squeezed in a certain way. The lower back of a man, they like to be touched and caressed.
Okay, so there we go. Did you know that, Selassie?
I did say you have the obvious area, but you can always go down to the sack, and you can gently caress. Because bear in mind, you're talking. There are some body parts, there are some areas of your body that aren't often touched.
Yes.
And with those body parts, when they are touched, suddenly the sensation is richer.
It wakes up.
It's heightened. So if you look at, for example, the actual male sack, you wouldn't often touch that. Or normally a man would have to, wash himself and so on and so on and so on. But you'd only really have your partner go there when you're having sex, and sometimes not even then. So there are areas around there that you can just stroke and touch and so on, that suddenly tingling sensations come up.
Okay. On that note, I think I'm going to read my sex tip, and then if we've got time after that, maybe I'll take your last word, Selassie. But let me read the text tip, and then we will go from there. So this is what I have called the tasty teaser, because I thought we were talking about foreplay, so I thought I'll do something in line with foreplay. So I said the tasty teaser, and I said it is a man's foreplay to woman. So I said, lay her down on the bed and kneel between her legs. Lean forward and kiss her passionately, and slowly make your way down her chest and stomach, rubbing her boobies the whole time. Once you reach down under, hold her knees down and kiss around her thighs, and then lick up and down her clit for a few seconds to turn her on. Then slowly push your tongue between her folds and explore her. Stay there for a minute, as this is the most sensitive part of her body. Now move your tongue up and down slowly. Whilst doing that, you can also use your fingers to rub her wet tip. This will make her go gaga. So that is my sex tip for you this week. Thank you so much for joining in this evening. Thank you to Mo. Thank you to Selassie. I mean, you're always awesome when you come on this show, and I am really appreciative of you too. So thank you. Thank you to everybody that tuned in this evening. I am grateful for your audience. We will be right here at the same time next week, and tomorrow tune in. We've got a great lineup of programs for you, starting with the Gospel Connect show in the morning, way down to the Hear Me Out show, the Weekend City show, and the sports show in the afternoon. But yes, next week we will be right here again. So everybody that watching on YouTube, I want to say thank you too. We'll be right here next week with another sizzling topic. And so make sure you tune in. Send the link to your friends and your contacts so that they all hear about the Bedtalk show. But have a lovely weekend for now, and enjoy next week. See you right here, same time. I'm out.
More news, more information. This is ABN News on the Hour.
From the Sky News Centre at 11, British counter-terror officers have started a murder investigation following the death of a Russian exile in southwest London. Nikolai Glushkov was found dead at his home on Monday. He was an outspoken critic of President Putin and had been granted political asylum in Britain after he was jailed in Russia. Former senior investigating officer at the Metropolitan Police, Peter Kirkham, says detectives will be going through the evidence in minute detail.
No senior investigating officer believes in coincidence. I certainly don't. I look